Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Street Sharks episode, Shark to the Future. This is a really cool episode. It's all about an alternative dystopian future, which is a cool sci-fi concept. I really like whenever it's done, especially when it's done well, like in this. It's really done well. So it starts off with carrying over from last episode. The Street Sharks have Paradigm's time machine, and let's see, their Benz comes up with the idea to use it to rescue their father. So he sets it up to send the sharks back in time to the day their father disappeared. But then meanwhile, we see Paradigm talking to Calamari and gloating about how it doesn't matter that they've gotten the time machine because there's a booby trap on it. And we get this, fantasy thing, whatever, playing in Paradigm's head of the sharks getting sucked through the portal and getting stuck back in the Jurassic Age or something. Which, he tried that before and it didn't work. Whatever. Anyway, Benz activates the time machine, but the booby trap goes off on his end, not the shark's end, so the sharks don't know the booby trap went off, and they're sent into what they think is the past, but it's actually the future. Once they're in the future, let's see, they look around, they're like, where are we? They're in, like, the ruins of some old building. Then they see this archway, Fission State University, and it's all crumbling to pieces, and they're like, whoa, what happened? And then they don't have time to think about that because there's Mecho Sharks coming, and they actually call them Mecho Sharks this time. And it's weird because they've only been called Shark Bots up until now, but they just act like that they know they're called Mecho Sharks, whatever. Anyway, there's a really cool fight scene. It's got lots of cool, fun stuff going on in it. Stuff is falling down over here. Anyway, so they defeat the Mecho Sharks, but then there's more Mecho Sharks coming. There's a whole, like, army of them. So then, they're gonna go get back to the time machine. They try to get back to the time machine, but then the floor collapses and they find themselves in these underground steam tunnels. And before they have any chance to think again, there's a bunch of humans down in the tunnels with laser guns, and they zap the sharks. And then we see this guy with a yellow mustache. He sounds like Benz. Even as a kid, I remember when, how was it, they first hear the humans, don't move, Zeviots, or whatever it was they said. And I was like, that guy sounds like Benz. And when I was a little bit older, I wondered, did they have the same voice actor or something? So anyway, then, moving my notes up here. Okay, so then the humans take them, they're all chained up, and the guy with the mustache tells them that he's General Benzini, and he's, where is it? He's the leader of the first American rebel army. Okay. Wouldn't the first American rebels be, like, from the American Revolution? Whatever. Anyway, he tells the sharks that he doesn't know if they're with Paranoid or not. And then the sharks explain to him that they're the Street Sharks. And they also call Paradigm only Paranoid. Ripster calls him Slimanoid a few times. So yeah, the name Paradigm has been completely forgotten by this point, which always kind of confused me because, I don't know, for whatever reason, I kind of liked the name Paradigm. It sounded like a good, like, mad scientist type of name, but I guess Paranoid makes sense in this episode because, let's see, Benzini. Oh yeah, Benzini tells them that, the Benz that they knew was his great-grandfather. 60 years have passed since they used the time machine. So they're 60 years in the future, and Benz, it turns out, is short for Benzini. I always thought that was pretty cool to find out that, yeah, Benz wasn't like just a nickname or a weird name, it actually was like an actual name, Benzini. So anyway, Benz talks about how Paranoid released a contagious mutating virus and gene slammed the entire world, and now all the Seviet mutants in the world are loyal to Paradigm, or Paranoid. So, let's see, a few people were immune, and they escaped underground and formed the rebellion. And then he talks about how Paranoid is still alive, and over the 60 years, he's rebuilt his nearly entire body with cyborg parts, and they don't know if any of him is human, except for his brain, and even that, we don't know if it's human. I like that line where he says his brain might not be human. Anyway. Oh yeah, Seviet's attack. And then this was a weird thing on the DVD that I remember when I got the DVD, I thought, "Oh, this is weird." I don't remember this. There's a music video that plays. There's a 4-way split screen showing scenes from the episode, including scenes that haven't happened yet. So the episode spoils itself. That's annoying. There's like a big reveal coming later. Well, kind of. It's kind of a lame reveal, but this makes it worse. And anyway, while I was watching the DVD over and over again, this episode, I kind of remembered, like, I think I remember these music videos did play when this aired on TV, but the weird thing is when they were on TV, I'm pretty sure these weren't, like, part of the actual episode. Like, I seem to remember, like, you'd cut to commercial, then they'd have the music video during the commercial. I don't know, maybe they were part of the episode and they just put commercials around it? I don't know, but it's a weird thing to include on the DVD, because this does not feel like it's actually part of the episode. It feels like this is the worst kind of padding. So, whatever. Let's see. Okay. The Sharks and Benzini are overwhelmed by the Seviets and the Meko Sharks. Then, let's see. Oh yeah, Piranoid shows up. And the weird thing with Piranoid in this episode, he's in his, like, piranha mutant form, but he has his normal voice. He has, like, his normal speaking voice. Oh, which, by the way, I really love his voice actor. He has a great voice actor. I don't know who it is. I'll have to look it up later, who Piranoid's voice actor is, because he does a great job consistently, no matter how stupid or goofy the episode is. Like, he always has this, like, really cold, like, type of voice, like, evil, and he loves it, but he's also, like, convinced himself that, this is for science, or whatever. Or, like, he really believes that he is, like, that he rightfully has the right to control the world, or whatever. So then, anyway, yeah, Piranoid, and he imprisons the Sharks and the Rebels. Then he goes to the time machine. He takes the time machine, and he's trying to activate it, and he finds out that Ben's in the past somehow altered the machine, so now he doesn't know quite how it works anymore, and I thought that was a clever thing, because it shows, oh, Ben's was really thinking ahead. He really is a smart guy. He's a real asset to the Sharks. And there's a really cool moment where Piranoid is getting frustrated with the time machine, and this Meko Shark comes over, and Paradigm, like, throws a wrench at it, and bonk off the Meko Shark's head, and Piranoid is yelling at it, and his voice, for a second, gets really close to his mutant voice when it gets higher pitched and really crazy. So I'm wondering if that has anything to do with him rebuilding his body as a cyborg, or maybe like the piranha face, like maybe the mutation in him progressed and now this is his normal form, and like if he were to get really, like, frustrated or something, he'd mutate into something even more monstery. That'd be really cool, actually. So whatever. Anyway, the Sharks and the Rebels are put to work in Piranoid's factory assembling rockets to gene slam other planets. Huh. So I'm wondering, in this version of the story, do the Dino-Vengers ever come to Earth? What about the Extreme Dinosaurs and their lady cop buddy? She was an alien. In this version of Street Sharks, like, in this alternate future, did Piranoid mutate the Dino-Vengers? Or the Extreme Dinosaurs and that lady cop woman who, I can't remember her name? Huh. Interesting thing to speculate about. So anyway, oh yeah, there's a major introduction here, kind of. It's a really lame introduction of who will become a major character later. Clamando. He just shows up, and there's this dramatic music. Dun, 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 dun. And then you see, like, the Sharks look at him really shocked, like, ugh. And it's kind of funny because, yeah, this is the first time they see him, so it makes sense, but it does make me wonder how he ended up with Piranoid, and also, where are Calamari and Reptile? Are they dead? Like, it's been 60 years, maybe. But, on the other hand, like, I don't know, Piranoid's still alive. I don't know. They don't really explain, like, who's alive, who's dead, how long the Seviots live for, or any of that, so whatever. Anyway, Clamando. Oh, and Clamando, he comes around only a few episodes later from this, like, in the present. So he's 60 plus years old, right? Whatever, anyway. Knowing his story, how he's introduced later on, it really makes me wonder, why did he team up with Paradigm? Paranoid, whatever. Anyway, Ripster figures out a way to escape by using this laser that cuts metal or something on the rockets. He deflects the laser, let's see, to... Crap, I don't remember what was... Oh yeah, he uses it... They're handcuffed or something, so he breaks the handcuffs, and then they escape. There's this one Seviet who's about to pull an alarm, then Slamu comes over, takes the alarm, and eats it. And then the Seviet screams and runs away, and the funny thing is he has Shrimp Louie's scream. Huh. And it made me wonder, so is this, like, 60 years old Shrimp Louie? Maybe. He got really weird looking. Oh, that was something. Earlier, when there's the flashback to Paradigm successfully gene slamming the world, it shows a bunch of people mutating. There's a mother and a kid who mutate into, like, tuna fish or something. Then there's some guy in Japan with a kimono who turns into a big lobster crab monster with claws. And the weird thing is, like, he has two different looks, and either one would have been cool. Let's see, he, like, begins to mutate, and he has, like, this hard shell that kind of looks like a hat, but then he mutates more, and he looks like just a big crab. Huh, that was weird. Also, he never shows up again in the show, I don't think. There's a couple other mutants that they show, these big bug-looking things. I don't know what those are. And, yeah, they never show up again either. Like, I'm trying to remember. I don't think they do. Like, maybe they're using the background, maybe? I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. Back to, this point in the episode. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So they escape Clamando and the Seviots and the Mecho Sharks. Benzini leads the sharks to Paranoid, and there's a cool little subtle bit where Benzini tells the sharks, was it, I know this place well, or something, like, implying that he's infiltrated the place a couple of times before. I thought that was a cool little nod to some history he's had. So anyway, they get to Paranoid, they tie him up, they defeat him really easily. For some reason, they don't execute him right there. I guess limitation of a kid's show, but it just feels weird. Especially for, like, how it's been up till now. Street Sharks doesn't really pull punches often. So anyway, yeah, they activate the time machine, and before they leave, Slamu tells Benzini that they're going to try and find their father, and then try to develop an antidote and give it to these people in the future. So, the rules of time travel have changed a bit, I guess. Or maybe it's the launching point of, like, where they go from. Like, when they're in the present, they go to the past. If they change the past, the future is altered. However, if they go to the future, it creates an alternate future. Very confusing. So whatever. Anyway, the sharks all go through the time machine, then suddenly there's a beeping noise, and Benzini's like, what's that? And Paranoid, from the future, realizes, oh crap, that's the bomb I put on it 60 years ago. Then he jumps out the window, a bunch of rubble falls on him, Benzini jumps out the window, just narrowly escaping, boom, big explosion, and then there's a really cool scene that's a callback to the end of the original three-part premiere when Paradigm is in the rubble and we see his hook hand come out of the rubble. Here, we see the rubble move and then Paranoid's cyborg arm comes out of the thing, and that's a really cool little bit. So anyway, the sharks get back to the present, and then they tell Benz that Benz has immunity to Paranoid's virus that'll be released, and if they find their father, with Benz's help, they can create an antidote for the people from the future, and also stop Paranoid from ever trying to mutate the world in the first place. So yeah, it's a really cool episode. Oh, and the animation is really good in this episode. There are a few weird bits where Streaks and I think Jab, their voices get mixed up early on, and then later Streaks has Ripster's voice. It's really weird. Whatever. For the most part, the animation is done really well. The Mecho Sharks design is way better. They're way more consistent. However, they have really skinny legs. It kind of makes them look like chickens, which is kind of silly. Let's see. Looking through my notes there. Yeah. Cool episode. Really like this one. This was one of my favorites, actually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what comes next, and that's all for this one. See ya.